Good morning, everybody. It's so great to be with you today. My name is Anastasia Galanopoulos, and I will be cooking No Pasta Pastichio today, though it's more like a no pasta lasagna. And I just want to tell you I've been cooking Greek dishes, because I am Greek, since I was probably 6 years old. So this is like second nature to me, and I love experimenting in the kitchen and always doing something new and exciting that's healthful. So we know that the Mediterranean diet is so important for our health, for our mental health and our overall health. So today we're going to be talking about how to make this dish with very few ingredients. These are the ingredients. So we have, the star of the show is cauliflower. There's no pasta. We have some potatoes. We have some cheese. This is a farmer's cheese. This is mozzarella. If I were in Greece, I would be using the Greek equivalent, which is anthotiro. And I've got some onion and some spices, salt, pepper, cumin. I have some coriander, and I have some tomato sauce that's jarred, but you can of course make your own if you would like to. And of course, olive oil. We can't do anything without olive oil. Of course, I have sausage. I should tell you, there is a protein in the dish. There's no preservatives or anything like that in it. We're gonna start with the potatoes because we need to have these. They're gonna go on the bottom of our dish. And I have a preheated oven to 375. And you're gonna slice it laterally, about 6 slices in the potatoes. So this is, again, sort of think about what you're gonna see today as half the recipe, a smaller version of the recipe. And let's see, about 1/2-inch slices or so. Okay. You would usually need about a couple of pounds of potatoes, so like 2 large potatoes. The reason you're using a potato down here is because the cauliflower is going to have lots of juices and the onion that we're going to add. And what you want to do is be generous with your olive oil, as we always are, because this is a very healthful ingredient to use. Yes, it is fat, but it's a healthy fat. And salt. And a little pepper. Okay, and then we're going to just make sure that the olive oil has touched every part of the potato. We're going to check it in 15 minutes. Remember, a good rule of thumb is when whatever you have in the oven that's cooking begins to smell and give you that nice aroma, check it. While the potatoes are cooking, we're going to work on the cauliflower. So I'm just taking off these leaves. I do not throw these away. I can use them. Sometimes I actually use them in the dish. I haven't in the dish that I made. Or you could keep them in the refrigerator and just make them for some other dish. Use them as greens for another dish. This crunchy stuff, and it's full of fiber and full of nutrients, so we never want to waste anything. So I'm just using this paring knife to get the stem out. We want to slice this, okay? So I'm gonna start just in the center. I'm gonna do it this way. And I want you not to be afraid if it starts falling apart. Don't worry if it, comes apart. Don't worry if it doesn't look the right way, whatever the right way is. So I just want to show you, this kind of looks like a little brain, right? In the same way that a broccoli would look. So it's really actually very healthy for our brain because of all of the wonderful nutrients that are in here. So I'm looking at about 1/2-inch slices that I want. So I'm going to try and make this happen. Okay, there's one. Okay. So this is sort of what we're shooting for. This one is very, very thick, so I'm going to try and actually cut through this. And that's okay that you've got all this other part. And even this slice, you see it's falling apart, but don't worry, because you can just put it together again. In 3. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same here. You would need about twice as much cauliflower. For making a larger version of this, I'm using cauliflower for this. So again, hand is not great in terms of how the control I have, but it's good enough. I'm going to start it at pretty high just to warm it up, and then I want it about medium heat, because with olive oil you don't want to have it be on very high. But just to warm it up. This is an induction stove. Okay, I can see it warming, so I'm going to start just placing the cauliflower. We want to sear this cauliflower like you were searing a steak. So we're going to try and not turn it over too fast, about 3 to 5 minutes per side. And then I'm going to get this ready. When that batch is done, I'm going to put this in the pan, just like you can just plop it in, no problem. Parts of it are already sort of halfway done. I want to just show you. I'm just going to put the onion in here. We'll saute. It's crazy when you're not in your own space. It really is very different. Salt and pepper every time you add something. Just make sure that you're doing that. Okay, we're going to check this. Okay, some of these are ready, so I will start taking some of these out. I'm just going to move things around so I can add. I'm going to add all of these guys. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to put this in here. And then we're going to get the sausage in here. I'm going to do about half because that's what I need. I'm going to let that go for a second until I finish. All you want to do is break this up as much as you can. Maybe I will ask for my helpers, one helper to come up, like you're doing a ground beef or something. Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. And your name?
Muffy.
Muffy. Thank you, Muffy. So I'm going to just layer these potatoes first on our dish. We should have a little. And all you're trying to do is really cover the base of the dish. It already has some olive oil on the bottom because of, you know, how we started. I prepared the potatoes in there. Otherwise, you would have to, drizzle some olive oil on the bottom of the dish. These are a little more than I need, but that's okay because remember, they're going to absorb all of the beautiful juices of the cauliflower. It's all about the spices. You want to be really generous with the cumin and less generous with the coriander. You don't have to measure anything, okay? So just cumin, 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 okay? Just show you. Generous. And then because also the holes are smaller on this, it's going to be less generous. You're just going around, okay, with the coriander. Okay, so now we're going to put the cauliflower slices on top. I'm taking the slice and just putting the round part against the curve of whatever vessel you're going to use. Again, if you were going to make the larger version of this, you would be making a second layer of what you're going to see us do. Muffy, my friend, and I, we're going to just make one layer. But if you were going to make, use a larger pan or whatever, you would just repeat the process and make a second layer. Okay, so what's missing here? The cauliflower only has salt and pepper. So we want to do the same thing with the spices, okay? So cumin. Okay. And coriander. Okay, that looks great. Perfect. I'm going to turn that off. Okay, and we're going to add back the onions that we had to take out. So let's see. Can you use your spatula there to just, yeah, beautiful. Awesome. And you want to just mix those up? Okay. So yeah, you can put this, this is a very heavy pan. Thank you. You're just going to plop it in. Great. Thank you, Muffy. That's awesome. Beautiful. So yeah, just spread it out just like that. And then what we're going to do is, again, use half of the farmer's cheese. Okay. And you're going to spread half of the farmer's cheese here on top. You use this farmer's cheese and then a little bit of the sauce. Now the sauce, I am using a jarred sauce. I don't often use jarred sauce, but this is one of my favorites, this brand, and this is the garlic, roasted garlic. So for your recipe, I have like a cup to a cup and a half total. So here I'm just going to use like 5 or 6 tablespoons. I'm just going to spread it like this. The mozzarella will go right on top. Normally what you would do, I mean, you could put more sauce. This is how much sauce I would put, okay? And I would bake this covered, so I have just some parchment paper. I'm not going to do it, I'm just going to show you. You want to make sure that your aluminum never touches your food. Parchment paper and then aluminum, you're going to cover it nicely. Put it in your preheated oven, 375, for about an hour. Then you take it out and then you sprinkle the mozzarella on top. And another 15 minutes uncovered and it will be nice and melty. Because you could put it all together. That's another way you could do it, is that you could place your cheese on top before you cover it and then just make sure that you uncover it for 15 minutes in the end. I like this fresh ball and I usually grate it. That's why I have the grater here. I love this more than shredded, pre-shredded cheese, because someone was asking before we started filming, when you buy shredded cheese, you really need to look at the ingredients, because in many, I don't think that I have found a brand that does not have natamycin in it, which is a type of antifungal. And so you don't want to be ingesting any of that. So when you buy the fresh ball, there's nothing other than the milk and the rennet and the cultures in here. So it's all nice and natural. And of course, the more mozzarella you put, the more melty it will be. And that's what this really looks like, you guys. You cover it, you put it in the oven, you forget it, it's amazing. I'm going to take out the pre-made one and we can take a look and try the flavor. Now this is a dish that you can refrigerate and eat cold. You can also freeze it. It's delicious anyway. And it's got lots of fiber for your gut. Well, so I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for joining. I hope you can join us next time. We're going to do a live program on October 24th at the Community Center in Lexington, where I will be cooking revithia sti gastra, and that means chickpeas in earthenware. So if I had a glass of wine, I'm going to pretend like this is a glass of wine, stiniasas, which means to your health. Okay? I hope you join us next time. Thank you so much.